Yo, what's going on, guys? Watomarmelon back again with the Market Watch, and today I wanted to talk about a lot of the stuff that I haven't talked about in a while because I haven't uploaded a true Market Watch in quite some time. But Age of Overlord just dropped, and there's a lot of stuff that is worth discussing. I mean, immediately you see Little Knight is five listings, $400 for the lowest listing. And so, people are willing to spend money, but a lot of it seems to have to do with the current meta. Collector markets seem to be falling considerably if it's not related to the current state or current metagame that people are playing. So Little Knight is the most notable here out of Age of Overlords. There are a couple of playable cards that people are very interested in. The first one that catches our eye on the collector side is this Magicians of Bonds and Unity. So I actually got the first one out of Duelist Nexus, the one with the green backing. And so I do think that now that I've purchased one, I probably am going to have to just buy, one of these other colored backings from all the other sets that will have them. You can see it's already $87, $88 right now. I can only imagine that this card is going to continue to go down. The original one has gone down significantly since it was released. Other notable cards, most of this stuff is just playable. Little Knight, even just the secret rare is $80 minimum. But one of the other cards that I'm interested in out of this set is Darkhold Dragon as a collector. I don't know, I just love how this card looks. It's one that they've made a bunch of mats out of. It reminds me a lot of 10,000 Dragon. This is a poor man's 10,000 Dragon, but it looks insane. I'm definitely going to pick one of these up, and it seems like it's not playable at all. And so if it's only a $30 card and there's probably some room for it to continue to drop, I'm interested, and so I'm excited to see what this one does. Next up, we'll move on to the promos from the Megatins. So a lot of these fell considerably on release and then ended up bouncing right back. There were a number of buyouts on a lot of these things, but the Megatin prices have continued to go down. And even though these things were bought out, I think there are too many of them. You get one per Megatin. So if a Megatin costs $16, this specific promo is not going to be able to hold huge numbers. It's not going to be able to hold a whole lot of value. So you see Stardust at the top. That's not super surprising. You got Dark Magician. Note that Stardust has the most listings, I think, of any of the promos. And I think people are not, desperate for this card at $11. I imagine that's going to fall out even more. You got Cyber Dragon, Black Rose, Red Eyes Black Dragon, Blackwing Armor Master, had a Starlight Rare, and then they just reprinted it as Quarter Century Secret Rare. That must have killed that value. Exodia, Galaxy Eyes, Photon Dragon, Elemental Hero Neos. This is one of the more interesting ones. I think this is one that I will pick up. I said I was going to pick some of these up. I've just been lazy, and also, the prices haven't just tanked considerably, so yet. But I do think that there is some room for them to go down. And then Rainbow Dragon is another one I'll probably pick up. Just fun cards to have in the binder, and ones that I'm not... these are ones that I think are beautiful enough and are iconic enough cards that they're going to hold value down the road. These are ones that I'm more than happy to sit on a stack of. So I'm probably at some point going to pick them up. I'm not going to pick them up all at once or do a stupid buyout. I'll just slowly over time pick them up at prices that I think are reasonable. Next up, we have Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf, Ghost Rare, playable card. I think a lot of people have been wanting this card for some time, people who play the deck and are a fan of Salamangreats, but the Soul Burning Volcano just has no value whatsoever. The boxes cost under $30 right now, and you can see that this thing has actually done quite well because no one's opening up the set, so it sits at $60. There aren't a ton of listings of this card, and so it's just no one's willing to crack open the set because, if this is one in every 12 boxes and nothing else really holds much value, you can't justify cracking open a case at roughly $360 if you're only going to get one of these in a single case. So I'm not sure what's going to happen to the Legendary Duelist series, it just seems like nowadays there's no value to be had in them, and that's bad for obviously the people selling it who can't make any money off of it. So we'll see if they reconsider how they do legendary duelists, given the recent struggles. So next up, we've got Cyber Dragon. This is one that I've been looking at. I've been saying I'm going to buy this card for quite some time. It's just been dropping and dropping and dropping. You can see how this thing is, there was a bounce back, but then it just fell even further. In general, I'm not in a rush to pick up any of these modern cards. It just seems like a lot of them are falling out quite considerably. And so if everything's falling out, not all of it can hold value, right? And so I'm more than willing to just let it continue to fall and then purchase stuff without any sort of desperation or fear of missing out. So we got them at around $53, and there are a ton of listings there. Next up, we have Mobius the Frost Monarch. This is a personal favorite of mine. You can see that Near Mint Unlimited is around 70, and then Near Mint First Edition. There are a number of listings for the Near Mint First Edition now. Just Core TCG has 7 of them, so I can't imagine that someone's going to be able to buy out all of the Mobiuses, given that Core TCG has so many, and so the First Edition is close to 150. Next up, we have one that I was really happy about. I think this is an incredible looking card. It's the ultimate rare Blackluster Soldier of Chaos. But, this at one point was like a $50, $60 card. And these OTS ultimate rares, especially the ones from I think like 15 and on, have just been hit with a truck. They're not holding value at all. Actually, the majority of OTS ultimate rares have not done well. I think there are just too many of them out there. These are some of the things that benefited the most from sort of the craziness of the pandemic. People got a little too hyped about ultimate rares, so you can see that this had a year ago was $63. It went back up to $60. Now it's you see that someone's buying a lightly played one for $19, and Near Mint Unlimited. So Near Mints, because there's no distinction between first and unlim. Those are 22. So it keeps going down. And again, I just don't know how low it can go, because not everything can hold enough value to sustain the price points that they've been at. Next up, we have something that has actually done quite well. Quietly, Ghost Rares have been the best performing type of card in the modern market in Yu-Gi-Oh! And so you look at Blue Eyes White Dragon, low on listings, lowest listed is 146. I imagine that's lightly played. I'm not going to go through all of them. Dark Magician Girl does have a few more listings. I think that for a long time now, Dark Magician Girl has been really overrated. I think the pandemic overrated Dark Magician Girl super hard. Blue Eyes and Dark Magician took a backseat to Dark Magician Girl, but in actuality, I think people long-term want the Blue Eyes White Dragon more than they do the Dark Magician Girl. Now, that might be my personal biases, because I'm not a huge fan of Dark Magician Girl, but I think that Blue Eyes is the card to have. Additionally, we have Blue Eyes Ultimate. You can see that this is not a card with another competing high rarity, and there are only 25 listings left. This is a card that's done quite well, and Ghost from the Past 2 has been out for a long enough time that even though it had such an insane print run, and there were a lot of Ghost Rares, so it was twice the normal rate of hit for a Ghost Rare, it was printed into the ground, and basically all the Ghost Rares were bangers. So it wasn't like, there's 1 out of 9 Ghost Rares that's actually good. Most of them were actually good, which led to the prices just plummeting, and there were so many of them for so long. It seems finally that supply has kind of dried up a bit on most of these Ghost Rares. You look at, Blue Eyes Ultimate, there are 25 listings. Blue Eyes White Dragon, 26 listings. Red Dragon Archfiend, 33 listings. Sphere Mode has quite a few more listings than the rest, but Dark Arm Dragon, 37, Cyber Dragon, this has a lot of modern printings, and it just got the 25th or Quarter Century Secret Rare, so that one has a lot of listings. But even something like this, there are only 55 listings, and you can see that the price is ooching a little bit back up. After, if we go to the yearly graph, it's been just going down for quite some time. And so cards like this, and that's not even the Near Mint First Edition. Near Mint First Edition's 45. you wonder where it's going to end up. I don't know where it's going to end up. No one does, but you see that the quantities are going down, and in my head, I just think, ghost rares. People tried to rationalize the fact that they were, so cheap for so long, and I don't think that all the reasons people gave were valid. I think that people try to say that the ghost rares themselves were the problems. I think it was just that it was a packed set. That was printed into the ground, and now that people have been able to there's been some attrition of these ghost rares, and over time they sort of run out. I think that there's a lot of room for the ghost rare market to grow given the low quantities. Something I'm interested in that I'll look at off the top is just looking at ghosts from the past two. I want to see what the sealed looks like. Yeah, you see that the sealed is above the market price. Now, it's been kind of hovering a little below 70 for some time, but if we look at the yearly plot, a year ago it was 60, now it's 70. It's interesting to see where this thing's headed. You can see there are quite a few people trying to still sell it, so it's not going to be, just shooting up anytime soon, but it's something that over time people love opening this stuff up, and the sealed is getting put off the shelves, and the singles are rising in value and decreasing in supply, while every other rarity basically is plummeting. Next up, we have the crowd pleaser Hungry Burger. This thing has done nothing but just go down in the past 3 months. You can look at the full, 6 months is probably more informative. This thing has gone down considerably. Someone bought one at 20, which is pretty insane. You can find them for 35 pretty easily from very verified sellers. This one's also a little low in supply. Now, collector rares in general, I'm just going to show off a bunch of collector rares from here on out. I'm not desperately I'm not really pursuing a lot of these collector rares, even though I really like them, because I'm waiting for the rarity collection. I think that the rarity collection is going to inject so many collector rares that it's just going to destroy the market for a lot of the sort of collectible collector rares, because they're not going to feel as, luxurious, if you will. I don't think that the rarity is going to have this sort of interest from collectors anymore after it gets printed into the ground, similar to how quarter century secret rares were, or Starlight rares were after quarter century secret rares came out. So there are other collector rares that I think are interesting. This is one I own, Torrential Tribute. This one has gone down, just gone down. Now you can find it for, a little under $30, $28 right there. Really cool card, a card that you can actually play in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! And still it's gone down considerably. Solemn Judgment. This is one I actually have a graded copy at PWCC. There was like a 8.5, I think, BGS copy that I was able to get for like $30 a long time ago when this was a more expensive card. But I never shipped it home, and so it's just sort of sitting in the vault. Eventually I'll get it, and then I'll just crack it out. But you can see that Solemn is 35. There's an ultimate rare printing of this card, so I'm not expecting this to do crazy numbers. We've got Guilty, Gearfried, the Magical Steel Knight at a King's Court. You can see that this thing is starting to shoot up a little bit. There were a lot of purchases. I'm assuming this is a card that's somewhat playable, but the important part is that there are only 13 listings. This is one that has started to come off the shelves. You can see that from a verified seller, once you include shipping, it's more than $20. And it goes up very, very quickly from there. I don't know if this was a coordinated buyout, but this is one to keep your eye on if you're trying to collect it. Astrograph Sorcerer, this is one that I've been wanting for the longest time, but the price is just so volatile. It goes up and then down and then up and then, who knows where it'll end up. But now it's back above 30, and so I'm not willing to pay that sort of price. Again, I really want to buy a lot of these collector rares, but until the rarity collection comes out, I'm going to hold off. E-Telly, they don't have a picture of it, but E-Telly is a very playable one. Gone down considerably. I think this was meta for some time. I forget exactly what deck used it, but $25 for E-Telly. This is an interesting one because it's playable in Teledad format. So I think there's some interest behind it, but there's also the ultimate rare original print, which is always going to be high rarity, so I'm not sure where that leaves the collector rare. And finally, we have Rescue Rabbit. This is one of my favorites. I'm just a huge fan of these collector rares, and this one's at a King's Court. You can see that basically every graph we've looked at has just been down, 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 $23 for one of these. So this is another one that once Rarity Collection has come out and has had time to sort of situate itself within the market, I'm going to be looking at a card like this for sure. So thanks for watching, guys. As always, click the affiliate links. Helps out the channel. It's been your boy Watomarmelon. Peace out.